Well, 2024 was a departure from the high inflation numbers of just 2 years ago, but the fight against rising prices is not over yet. The Federal Reserve wants to see inflation reach an annual rate of 2%. The closest it got was 2.4% in September, and it's remained fairly stagnant since then. So let's go ahead and bring in CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady to look back at some of the biggest economic and business stories of the year. Kelly, always good to see you. So we're still in this moment of sticky inflation. We saw the Fed cut rates 3 times in a row. What has all this meant for Americans' wallets?
Okay, so good and bad, right? So with those 3 rate cuts, we've actually seen interest rates come down a full point this year. And that means that small businesses were able to get cheaper loans. Mortgage rates came down a little bit. Credit card interest rates came down some. Wages have also been growing faster than inflation. That's what we want to see. That's going to provide relief. But as you said, we are starting to see inflation tick back up a little bit. So I would say we are in a good spot right now, but it's a very delicate balance as we move forward.
It was also a record year for the stock market. What were some of the big gains on Wall Street?
Okay, yeah, this was huge, and it's really driven by interest rates and the Trump trade. So let's just run through the numbers. The Dow, as of now, has gained over 12%, the S&P 500 over 23%, and the NASDAQ over 31%. To put that into context, I want to just sort of zero in on the S&P 500, over 23% this year. Last year, it gained 26%. Normally, you see 8 to 10% in a year. So the fact that we've had really back-to-back strong performance in the stock market, a lot of folks say that equities are overbought. Keep your eye, though, on what we like to call the Santa Claus rally, because we could see more money thrown into the stock markets. December 24th to January 3rd, you often see a full percentage point increase.
You always teach me something, the Santa Claus rally. So let's talk about Boeing. This has been in the headlines all year. Of course, in January, that door plug blew off one of its planes. In September, thousands of factory workers went on a 2-month strike. In November, the company announced layoffs. Where does Boeing go from here, and how does that affect the overall aviation and travel industry?
Well, you have to hope it's nowhere but up, because Boeing is sort of the eyesore of this year. I mean, they also had the whistleblowers. Those astronauts are still stuck up in space. The stock is down. And delayed even further, right? Are they ever coming back? The stock, I checked, is down near 30% this year. They did, however, just get a very big customer, major orders for one of their planes. So they are a little bit on the upswing this year. I think for them, they need to rebuild trust. They need to get past all of these safety investigations with flying colors. The good news is it is a duopoly. Their only competitor really is Airbus. So if they are able to rebuild that trust, people will be buying their planes.
I have less than a minute with you, but obviously we have sat here so many times and talked about crypto. The national stockpile that Trump wants to see, the high that it reached. What are your predictions? Look back for us, and what are your predictions?
Huge year for crypto. We've gone over 100,000. We keep going up. I think it will keep going up as long as Trump and the administration delivers on those promises. Otherwise, you could see a big rout.
Okay, Kelly O'Grady, thank you so much.